Fabrizio Romano or ex-West Ham employee, choose your fighter, as they're reporting different things in regards to this rumour. But it came from Fabrizio Romano last night, who said, exclusive, Shakhtar Donetsk have sent €15 million package proposal to West Ham for Brazilian winger Luis Guilherme. There are more clubs keen, with Luis now expected to leave West Ham in the next few days. So that was the video I was prepared to record this morning. I had my thought process. I was ready to go. I was not too happy about it, truth be told. My conclusion was, what's the point? But then just before I hit record, ExWHUEmployee did an update over on the West Ham Way Patreon, and he said the club are denying this bid, that it hasn't arrived, and that West Ham are looking to recoup the transfer fee they paid so far, which is just under £20 million. Shakhtar are currently bidding £12.5 million, so they're quite some way off the price tag. Now, ExWHUEmployee did say something slightly inaccurate, but an easy mistake to make. He said that Shakhtar hadn't signed anybody for more than £2.7 million in the last 2 seasons. This season, that's correct, but last season they signed a couple of players for €12 million each. So they do spend money, and they will spend money, but because of the way the transfer market's set up, they've added next season, so it does look like it's the last 2 seasons. Easy error, but for clarification of facts, that's it out there. So choose your fighter. 2 different reports. That's what we're going to be discussing this morning. But if you're new to Hammer's Chat, please do subscribe, and also do drop a like on the video by clicking the thumbs up as well. It helps out the video, helps out the channel, and if we can get 1,000 likes, makes me happy. I'll be back later on today to have a little discussion regarding whatever transfer rumours come out, because I'm surprised at the lack of them, to be honest with you. It feels like there's a lot of transfer rumours in football going around right now, and it's difficult to keep up with what every club's doing. But I expected more for West Ham. There's not even any crap ones. I was expecting transfer rumours where you look at it and go, like I believe that. There's not even any of them. It's just like Brian Brobby, Andre Silva. Yeah, that's it. That's your transfer rumours. What more do you want? A bit more excitement, if anything. And like I said, I enjoy the transfer window and I enjoy the rumours. I don't believe much of it. I believe hardly any of it. 95% of it is rubbish. But I quite like laughing at the stuff that gets made up, I suppose. But nobody's even bothering to do that. Anyway, deadline, 11 PM on Monday. I still want us to get a couple of players in on loan. And I'm confident we'll get in 1. I was confident it'll be 2, but as the days are going, I'm starting to think it's 1. Right, this transfer rumour. Off a tangent already. Back on track. Shakhtar, €15 million. And I just don't know why. This would annoy me a lot, actually. And it feels a little bit like it's maybe David Sullivan trotting off to his filing cabinet, pulling open the drawer, getting a folder out that says, blame Tim Steiden, sticking this bid in there, and that's it. Happy days, we move on. Because that is essentially what the club can do. If West Ham cut their losses on Guilherme immediately, they can point to Tim Steiden and say, well, it's his fault. And as he was the guy that took him in and went over to Brazil umpteen times on West Ham's dime to try and get Guilherme, went over there and came back with his 3rd choice player. It is an easy thing to point and blame. But I just don't think the club have given him a fair crack of the whip. You can't bring in an 18-year-old and after 6 months decide, nah, you're not good enough. When we signed him, I thought, well, if he's in the first team by he's 21, so give him 3 years. If he's in the first team by then, it's been a success. My suspicion was, well, what we're going to do, we're bringing in an 18-year-old. We're crap at developing players. I appreciate at the minute Freddie Potts is doing well at Portsmouth, but Freddie Potts wasn't at Portsmouth when we signed Guilherme. Last season, the loans hadn't really worked out. The Callum Marshall one was horrendous. We sent him to West Brom and he didn't even play. He was in the squad some games, never mind coming off the bench. So it's a case of, well, what we're going to do development-wise, what's different at West Ham this season? It means that we can develop our academy players, but what's different that we're going to develop the players that we bring in from overseas? Because we've tried and failed numerous times, and usually it's low-cost transfers. So as West Ham fans, we're not that arsed. So like Cardoso, for example, comes in, £1 million, £2 million, and he goes away again. Andy Silva comes in, looks all right for the 21s, never sees first team football, goes away. It's costing us money to do this, but because it's so low cost and your expectancy is quite low, it's easy to forget and dismiss. But at this one costing 20 million, not being involved with under 21s, so you'd imagine he's sticking around with the first team. I think expectations rightly would shift for this one. But the method at West Ham had to shift. The development had to improve. There needed to be a plan for him. And it feels like there just isn't one. It's like we've taken him in. He's just a body in training so far. And he's looked okay in some spells he's come on. But truth be told, he's been here 6 months. I still don't have an opinion of him as a player. I'd never heard of him when we got linked to him in the summer. Hadn't a Scooby. Those that watch South American football got me a bit excited about him. I thought, oh, wonderful. It sounds like we're signing this exciting talent who could go on and become a top player. And that's, when you go to South America and pick up an 18-year-old for 20 million, that's what I expect. If that is not the conclusion of the club, you shouldn't be spending 20 million on an 18-year-old from anywhere, really. But I think it's a fair expectation, right, that this guy's going to go on and become one of the better players from Brazil. So I was expecting to see some evidence by now, even just 20, 30 minutes every second game or something, but there's been nothing. There's been no minutes. And the other thing you'd expect to see is him playing for the under-21s throughout the season. He hasn't done that. He's just been, I don't know, part of the wall when Emerson's been taking free kicks in training or something. I'm not sure what he's here for. But what I'm sure of is 6 months is no time to judge an 18-year-old coming from overseas into the club, leaving his family behind, coming to London. His lifestyle must have changed dramatically. Hell, I moved from Scotland to England and struggled a little bit when I first moved. Well, hang on a minute, I don't like this. This is different. Where's the countryside gone? Go to cross the road and nearly get run over. Hang on a minute, I'm used to cars stopping and letting me across the road here. So the culture change for me was dramatic. I can't imagine what it's like for Guilherme. The club required patience and the club required a plan for him. The 2 Ps. And we've had neither. And it sounds like the club are now chasing the 3rd P, which is a little bit of money. And it would be incredibly disappointing, but not surprising in the slightest for reasons I've already given. Right, before we discuss Guilherme a little bit more and why I don't think we should be selling him, and also a cheeky bid for Andy Irving, just want to point in direction of this video sponsors Stocks FC. Now, Stocks FC, to summarise it really quickly, it's a platform where you can purchase stocks in your players and you get rewarded in real time. So if they hit team of the week or team of the month, dividends are paid out and everybody with stocks in that player benefit off the back of it. To ease you in, to give you a bit of an idea how it works, we've got a special offer for you, but I'm also going to show you one player I purchased stocks in this morning. I'm quite hopeful will perform really well with me. Now, everybody will have different ways of going about this. You might bring in players that for the short term you think will work, and then you'll look to offload them. Might be players you bring in with a long-term vision. I've got a couple of them on my portfolio, and it's working out, but I'm keeping them for I've got no intention of taking them off my portfolio. But to help you, if you use the link below or this QR code here, if you sign up, and it's free to sign up, you don't need to deposit any money in order to obtain this special offer, you will get 5 players on loan for 1 month. And if those players hit team of the week and dividends are paid out, you will get paid out. So you won't have to put any money into Stocks FC, and you will benefit from owning 5 players for 1 month. And it allows you to get to grips with the platform, see what it's about, have a look around at no risk. But this is a player I've picked up stocks in today, Wissa of Brentford. And the reason being, and this is my screenshot from today, so you can see there, I've got 5 stocks in him now. But the reason being is because, first of all, he's classed as a midfielder, so that helps. There's only 5,500 stocks in him, which is better because there's higher stocks in some players, and obviously the more people involved, the less payout for him. You can see out there, payout per stock so far for Wissa is £1.54, and he'd only hit the market in November 2023. So just over a year he's been in the game, and already £1.54 has been paid out per stock. So that's why I'm in on him. But also, they've got Spurs coming up, so I'm going to be cheering on Wissa, I'm going to be cheering on Brentford. And because he's a midfielder and you get paid out, so in terms of sort of how the scoring works, it's for goals, for assists, and for shots on target. There is a page on there. You can see the scoring matrix. Have a look at it so you understand it. But I'm expecting Worcester to rack up the points this weekend, make team in a week, and I will benefit. So there you go. Gio's tip. But don't take. I'm not an expert. I should just clarify. I'm an amateur user. It's still new to me, but I'm hopeful. Right, back to Guilherme. And this is why I don't think we should sell him, for the lack of the reasons I've already given. And listen, if Shakhtar rocked up and said, here's 25, 30 million, I'd say sell him. If you could get your money back or make a small profit, do it, right? Because ultimately, I'd imagine that was the aim of the game eventually, to make a bigger profit. But certainly don't take a loss. What's the point on taking a £7 million loss on him so far? What is the point? Graham Potter's had him for 2 weeks. Maybe Potter's coming in immediately and he's not good enough, right? But as the football club, I'd be saying to Potter, well, your challenge is to improve him as a head coach. He's come across as a good manager so far. The players are singing his praises, and I don't disbelieve it. And he's got achievements out of football in regards to psychology and how he would be able to help men, how he'd be able to help people at the football club, off the pitch as well as on it. I'd be saying to Graham Potter, look, work with him for the rest of the season and see what you can get out of him. If come the end of the season you think, look, I can't do it, he's not good enough, he's not going to make it, fine. But 2 weeks ain't long enough for Potter to evaluate. His value's depreciated, hence the €50 million price tag that's going around at the minute. And I know the club are saying, no, we want what we get back. But it doesn't mean the clubs will pay for it. 50 million, I think, is a fair price tag for someone West Ham bought, haven't given a sniff to. But what's the point in taking that? Will his value really depreciate any further? That if we stayed with West Ham for the remainder of the season and we've seen a repeat of the first half, which was a few minutes here and there off the bench, would he be worth less than 10 million? I'm not so sure. I think his value is probably depreciated enough already. There's no point cashing in and taking a 7 million loss. We can do that in the summer if we have to. But for now, I'd be putting my foot down in Potter and saying, no. Work with him. Your job as head coach is to get the best out of the players we have available, as well as the players we bring in. But do the first part with Guilherme. Make him a better footballer. Noble speaks a lot about helping. There was a phrase Noble said, something like, even if players don't make it at West Ham, I want them to leave, West Ham is a better person. And I like that phrase. And he's speaking in regards to the academy players. But this guy's 18. He's classed as an academy player. He won't be through the academy. You won't look at him and say, well, happy days, he came through Rush Green to make it at West Ham. He did it. But he's 18 years old, right? That's young man territory. So if Mark Noble can sort of put his arm around it, and I would imagine he has already. We've seen clips of him with Paqueta and Emerson, so you'd imagine they've got their arm around him as well, helping him settle it in. And that's what happens at football clubs. It came out last season that Anang, while he never played for us, was a big part in Kudus settling into life in London, and Anang was important to him. And I don't want to give up on him. And it's not because I think he'll go on and make it at West Ham. I don't know. But I think if we are serious about bringing in young talent to the football club, and I hope we are, you've got to show the next batch of the next young guy that actually, here's Guilherme, we've stuck to him. If you're the next 18-year-old for 15 million West Ham come at him, you gave up on him after 6 months. He didn't get in the team, barely got a chance, and then you booted him out and you went to Shakhtar. No, thank you. I'll go somewhere like Brighton, who have bundles of evidence that they can bring me in, develop me, and then I'll get into their first team here. We need to change our attitude a little bit, and I think to do that we've got to change our methods, but we've also got to change our patience. And I'm not speaking about the fans. The fans are different. We're not in charge. It's not up to us if Guilherme gets a game or not, or we sell him or not. We just have an opinion on that. But the football club has to, I think when you buy someone like Guilherme, you've got to really commit to him for 2 years and say, and in 2 years' time we will evaluate him, unless something goes very wrong. Now, there are rumours that he's crap at training, that he doesn't really put in effort, but like I said, come on, Potter, get your arm around him and make him a better player, make him a better person, and see, because we're already light. The squad is already light. We can't be affording to cut this squad. So yeah, when I saw the rumour last night, I thought, just don't do it. I think I made that clear. If it got over £20 million, I would understand the club want their money back. And if, by the way, the club try and say, oh, it's because we need money for the January transfer window, we want to reinvest the money. Well, Mr. Sullivan, you created a rod for your own back, because when we bid for Duran, you confirmed there was 57 million there for the right player. So you don't need the money for Guilherme. You have told people the money is in the club, that we can spend money if we want to. So don't even try and come out with this, we need to raise funds. Bullshit. Well, one of it is either you're lying about the Duran bid, which I think a lot of people suspect you were, or you'd be lying about needing to raise funds for the January transfer window. And this is what happens when you give it a little bit of this. You back yourself in your own corner. People will use your words against you. And that's what I'll be doing. I'll be holding him to his own words. Keep him. Last bid that I also don't want to see go through is for this man, Andy Irving. Available, hammerschatstore.com, the Andy Irving mug. Let me show you, it's quite good. It's because I've not got a picture on the website. We've only sold one so far, but there you go. Iron Brew, Irving. Iron Brew Iniesta. And that, the man in the middle is Andy Irving. There you go. If you fancy an Irving mug, hammerschatstore.com. Patrons can use their discount, save up to 30%. Blackburn bid for him. And apparently, it was the player/agent that stopped this one going through, and not West Ham. The reports are coming out of the Blackburn Rovers side of things. I should add for clarification, it's not anyone from the West Ham side of it claiming this happened. It's the Blackburn side of it. That they wanted Andy Irving, but because of either agent demands or wage demands, it wouldn't happen. Now, it would have been a loan with an obligation to buy if Blackburn got promoted. And I don't think they'll get promoted personally, so it would just be a loan as far as I'm concerned. But I could be wrong. Maybe they'll come up. But no, I don't think Blackburn will be getting promoted. I wouldn't loan him out. I wouldn't sell him unless it was for a decent fee, which is not going to be. But he's a low-cost player. I'd imagine his wages are the smallest in the first team, along with Guilherme. I wouldn't even be surprised if Guilherme's on more than Andy Irving at West Ham. And I know you might think, well, what's that got to do with it? Because it's cheap. He's cheap. And when he's come on, he's looked okay. He's had more minutes than Guilherme, and he's looked all right. I think he's looked neat and tidy. He had that iffy moment against Crystal Palace, or I think it was Crystal Palace and not Fulham. One of those two games, he lost the ball and it put us in a spot of bother. However, bar that, I think he's looked nice. He's come on, he's kept the ball ticking over, he doesn't give it away, you can tell he works hard. Had a decent enough effort against Aston Villa on another day, you just never know what happens. But when I see Andy Irving coming on, I don't think, oh no, which I appreciate is a low bar. But over the years at West Ham, there's been quite a few players I've seen coming on. I've thought, oh, what's the point? I don't want to see him coming onto the pitch. Pardon. But Andy Irving's never done that. He's been well behaved. But when he's the one that's ready and your commentator says, Andy Irving's coming on, I think, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, but it's for this player. Don't mind it. Never let us down. So keep Andy Irving, keep Guilherme, keep everyone as far as I'm concerned, unless it's a silly fee. And bring in a couple of players on loan, please. Because we've got the money, according to Mr. Sullivan. Right, there you go. Wednesday. Mumblings over and done with. Make sure Stocks FC, scan the code or use the link in the description below and you will get 5 players on loan for free for 1 month, just to show you how it works and all that, so it's no risk. But if you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on the video. If you haven't done so already, let's get to that 1,000 likes. Subscribe to Hammer's Chat, and I'll catch you in a bit.